Alright, let's try this. Alright, let's get this party started. Sorry, I try to get everything all set up. Takes me a bit. How's everybody doing out there in the world of the internet? Hi CTM community, what's going on? So yeah, I gotta put back up my little GIF here. I'm back to the land of the living. I've been studying nonstop for this. So I've held the certification called the CCIE. It's a Cisco Certified Internet Networking Expert for 9.5 years. They're numbered, right? So you get a number. When you get your certification, you get a number. At this point, I've held it long enough that it didn't really matter if I recertified or not too terribly much. But let me reposition this a little bit. But I don't want to lose my number. And I had to recertify by next month, or April. Yeah, next month. And with all the pandemic and the baby and everything else, I haven't been able to go recertify it, and so I've been kind of scrambling to study, and I studied a lot, and I passed this test like last week that I thought was the only test I needed to take. Every other time in the past, you had to just take one expert level, the qualification exam to recertify, and I found out last week they changed the rules. Now you have to have a second exam, and I haven't been keeping up with the certification stuff hardly at all. So I had to study and get the second test done. So I've just finished that this morning. So let's get back to some crypto analysis. Let's get back to some looking at the markets. Let's get back to things. So I'm gonna need your help today. I've been heads down studying for probably pretty much a full month now. I've been like just every waking moment I have, I'm just studying. So, I look at charts a little bit here and there, and I post, and I did a couple of YouTube videos, but I'm kind of out of it a little bit. So I need the community's help here to help me get back into a rhythm. There we go. Into a rhythm here. Let's take a look at the comments and see what everybody wants to talk about, because I don't have any agenda today. I know Powell talked earlier, and I'm really sick of hearing about what the Fed has to say about things. This is why I like crypto, because it's somewhat detached from the existing financial system, but still, what the Fed has to say and where money's going, the availability of dollars affects crypto. So thank you, Juice. Hope you're well too. Hey, Giles, John, Matt, Andre, Mario, Chody, Red, Oz. Giles, let's see here. I feel like I'm on drugs. Far out, man. Best intro on YouTube. The music, yeah. So it's Doge-wave. I'm still listening to it with these cheap headphones on. Now, Lemmy told me, you guys know Lemmy in our CTM group, you need to get some better headphones, man. You look like you're cheap with those cheap gaming headphones you have on. So I will probably I have Bose headphones that I use, like Bluetooth headphones, but they're not connected to my computer. I use them with my iPad and my phone. But I should probably get some better headphones here. But I continue to listen to music with my headphones on while I'm doing the live stream so that I can keep up my pace. But yeah, I like this, like when I'm working and I'm trying not to like have music that's too distracting to me, this like synthwave and like this kind of modern music is good for that. Keeps your brain engaged. Hey, Meta Marcel. Hey. Thank you, Craig. Frisbee Dogs equals Craig. Great to see you back. Great to see you. Okay, what does everybody want to talk about? ADA price prediction for 2021, please. $10. As my price prediction for 2021, $10. Let's see if I have any reason for telling you that. Here, hold on. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a chart that can show why I think $10. It's just a nice round number. The prior all-time high was, I think I did some math. What was it? I mean, I have a reason for the $10. It has to do with pretty much the top-end price for Bitcoin, and then you take this ADA Bitcoin chart, you look at what's the prior all-time high versus Bitcoin. I think if I did the math on it, at 8,500 Satoshis, and at like a $300,000 Bitcoin, if we get close to this peak here, it would be over $10. But the thing is that Bitcoin is going to be coming down off of its top price as this might touch this prior peak. So basically, when the alts start going up while Bitcoin's coming back down, that's when you get a big spike in the altcoin versus Bitcoin price. So this would be after post Bitcoin's peak. So Bitcoin's price is coming back down, say about $100,000. I think this gives us like an $8.50 ADA at $100,000. Some spam. Sorry, I got a spam phone call. My spam filter caught it as they're trying to tell me that. Anyway, spam. I hate spam. I get so many. I don't ever pick up the phone anymore. I don't know about you guys. I never get to pick up the phone because I'm always like, all right, it's probably spam. Obviously, if it's a phone number I have on my phone, that's different. But the ADA BTC chart, as you can see, this little touch right there, that little peak, might be some support as far as what ADA is doing. Maybe. But this is ADA BTC. It's coming down. I mean, honestly, what I was really waiting for personally is I was waiting for this chart, the ADA ETH chart, to come back down maybe to this level here. This is a key breakout level I was watching for a long time. It's the top touches right here of these couple of temps. So basically, where ADA ETH topped out in April 2018, March 2019, and July, we broke through that. If we come back to touch that, it's gonna be a great buy place for ADA. If you're asking about but yeah. All right, other questions. Let's see what we got here. Ahoy, ahoy, Rion. Good evening. Doge-wave. Can y'all hear my music still, or it's off, right? Yeah, okay. I think it's off. Only I can hear it. Gaming headphones are the way to go. I got this gaming chair behind me too. Can we discuss the best entries for new longs with BTC? Yes, we can. I was looking at the BTC chart earlier. I don't have a lot for you. I don't have a lot of quote unquote clarity on this. Just what the I think we already had our shakeout, right? And we should be resuming. The only problem is this: what happens with the markets? I know it looks like to me that the S&P is coming into the support on this trend line right here. That's what I was thinking was going to happen. So, assuming some people get shaken out of their equities trades here, if equities come back into here to this bottom trend line, the last time it touched that, it bounced pretty hard, right? That bottom of that trend line that I've got on my chart. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if y'all seeing that, but I think equities should come into that trend line and bounce off of it. Would be a good place to look at. This is a pretty. What is that? It's an important level. This also is an important level. The top touch there and the bottom touch there, roughly. So who knows where the bottom of this little mini sell-off. This is not a big sell-off though. I mean, people get so. I don't know why people get so freaked out. It's 6%. Of course, I trade crypto, so I mean, you guys crying about 6% and come on, get over it. But of course, there's people that are very leveraged and everything, and so with margin and leverage, a 6% move feels much bigger. But still, nonetheless, yeah. What the S&P was off 6%, it's going to come off 10%. At some point. How often do we get a 10% sell-off? I've done this math before. It's pretty often. It's like once every 18 months or something is the average, I believe. Look here. As you're at 15%. So equity should come off about, I guess 8% happens more frequently, but these 10% corrections are about once every 18 months on average. Something like that. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong, whatever the average is. These little 10%ers happen pretty frequently, so it's not that. Well, we already had a 10%er though, didn't we? Let's see here. Did this equate to a 10%? Yeah, that was a 10%. So yeah, we've already had the 10%. So this might just be a little 8%, 6% jog, and then back up. But we'll see if the market freaks out. That's 6%. Yeah, so we already had that 10% for the year, basically. So, all right, equities look good to me. Like, I don't think people are freaking out about 5-6% off. Come on now. You know, the Fed's not gonna take their foot off the gas pedal just yet. I don't think. I mean, there's still lots of money being pumped in the system. And what are you going to move your money into, right? If you get out of equities, what the heck are you going to put it into? I mean, if you put it in the dollar, you're just going to lose a bunch of money. So anybody who's buying the dollar right now is just going to end up losing it because inflation's going to hit, and this is going to come down. You know, you got to put it in gold and silver, which are sold off. So it's a good spot to buy gold and silver, in my opinion, coming into the support right here. 1,700 gold. Come on, that's a great price to buy some gold. It's below this trend line. Obviously, from a trade, this is not a good time to trade it, but for long term, I don't know. Where are you going to put money at? I mean, seriously, if you're going to sell equities, what are you going to? You got to put it into something else. You can't leave it in dollars. So even if the markets sell off a little bit, it's got to go somewhere, and the best place to put it is in gold or Bitcoin. All right, but Bitcoin, I don't have a good read just because I think this is kind of a little bit news driven right now. But I mean, it's just continued to march up. We had our big shakeout, and I think these moves are just kind of smaller moves. I put some new trend lines on my chart. You know, what I said in the Discord chat earlier was it's going to explode all of a sudden out of nowhere. So it's going to kind of bleed out. Like, we see it shake out, and it's firming up. It's going to consolidate / maybe slowly bleed off as we come into like this 47K level. And then all of a sudden there's going to be something come out. Somebody big bought Bitcoin. And it's just going to make a huge leg up out of nowhere. And we're not going to be able to really see that coming. Like, how many times all these other, when it shoots up before, let's go to the 8 hour. Look at Bitcoin. Okay. Every time it's just like made a big move, how predictable was that really? This one was somewhat predictable. But really, it came out of here, and then it consolidated a little bit more, and then it really shot off. It was not really, you know, you can see that it was consolidating. You know, maybe this was somewhat predictable. I don't know, probably not. I mean, that really wasn't that predictable. I did put a rocket, I think, on one of my charts. Let me go to my chart here. Hold on. I got it. One of these charts. I have my old chart. I did put the rocket on it. I don't know where it was. But nonetheless, it kind of like unexpectedly starts to make a huge leg up. It's had like this bit of consolidation here, beautiful consolidation at 20K, right below it. And we were talking so much about this, just constantly talking about what's it going to do? Is it going to go down to 14K? I kept thinking 14K, and it never hit it. And then all of a sudden, it broke through, and off it went. A little bit of consolidation, then it just took off again. A lot of consolidation, and it kind of never, like, just this one huge green candle from, well, that was a Tesla pump, right? Yeah, this was the Tesla candle. So something like that's going to happen again, I think. I think it's just going to kind of slowly continue to creep up until news comes out, something bullish. I don't know. I don't have, to me, I mean, I started drawing a bull flag on this. My technical analysis is going to be very weak today just because I'm very rusty being out of pocket, but I had a bull flag on this. I don't like it, honestly. This is not, it's a little bit steep for me, but you know, you can kind of see the formation there, right? And if it firms up, if it holds this kind of bottom level, I like this level right here though. I have a green horizontal at 47K basically. I like that level. If you're trying to like, if you're just trying to add to a long-term position, you're not trying to go like into a leveraged trade, I like that level for a place to add. We already had our big dip. Do we come back down below this? Do we come back down below 43 to 42? That's the big question, right? 42 I expect fully to hold. You know, beyond after night, you know, wick down, overnight wick down, because this, all the bullish news that's happened. So we had this big run up into early January, and since early January we've had nothing but bullish news for Bitcoin, really. So I don't see it going below that for long. But yeah, I mean 47, 42, 45. The reason I have 45 on my chart is that's the bottom of the daily bearish. It's the last bearish candle for that big sell-off. So 45 is going to provide support as well. the top of the I've got 47 on here, but really the top of this Tesla candle is another like really important level. So you could pull your, that's 46.5 ish. There's all your supports. I mean, there's lots of support. So I don't know what it's going to do in the short term. I don't have a good read. Dot. Hey, okay, let's look at Dot. I haven't looked at Dot today at all. It looks bullish. It's going up. That's number one. Looks very bullish. Very bullish. Let's go to the 12-hour on this thing here. Look at a little bit broader perspective on it. So obviously I have this one trend line on here. But I can make it a channel. It's really a channel, right? So we're just in this really strong uptrend. I don't have much for you other than we're in a really good uptrend. I have this green line here that needs to turn into resistance, but let's go look at the daily levels. At this. So again, we had the nice sell-off. These touches down here were wonderful places to get in on this very bottom of this trend line. You see this right here? Where's our next bearish? So this is our next like really strong support. Is, I think, my opinion, is 31.26. And so I'm gonna make that white. All right. The next buy, and obviously we have support right here, right through here. I had it as resistance right up here. So resistance is gonna be 37. Right at 37 is gonna be your kind of local resistance. And that's the thing is, like right now we're out of since we're past all-time highs on Dot. I recall, my chart is I don't have any all-time highs a little higher than this. Pretty sure we're at all-time highs for Dot. We don't have a lot of historical levels. The historical trend lines, I have my data feed cuts off too short. Well, I'm on a Bitfinex feed. I think I'm on a Bitfinex feed because it has a little bit longer history. I don't know. That's weird. I just now realized I'm on a Bitfinex. Strong uptrend. I mean, you know, this level right here, you can count it as support. If we resume off of that on a 4-hour, it's kind of getting, right now with this consolidation, I would try to break out on a 4-hour. Do we have a bit of a, so we had a really nice wedge here I was watching, right? Very clear kind of downtrend, you know, break out of that downtrend into this support level and back up. So something to look at here. Okay. So we're coming in at that post breakout of that downtrend. Let's go back to the 12-hour and look at that. On the 12 and then on the daily. Yeah, so the daily didn't give us any closes, but the 12-hour, check this out. So the breakout candle on the 12-hour out of that consolidation that we had, the top of that's your support to watch. Local support. All right, so yeah, if you get a resumption, now that's a great support level to watch in my opinion. A 12-hour, so then let's go down to the 4-hour here. You get a resumption signal off of that. That's something you could look at. And then you have this trend line that's really, really close. I mean, you can move this trend line around. You can see there's other touches here that you can justify moving it up based on the bottom of that wick there, the top of that one there, the bottom of that one there, so forth and so on. So you've got kind of, you're in this channel, you've got the channel support, you've got this support of this breakout on the 12-hour, and actually the 4-hour, I mean, so the 4 and the 8 would have lined up there too. No, the 8 didn't. So the 4 and the 12, you've got closures on this breakout on the 4-hour and open on the 4-hour, and then an 8-hour. It was in between that, so the 12-hour. But the 12-hour is what I'd be trading right now. That's what I'm focused on. I'm getting back on the 12-hour just right now, personally, just to kind of weed out some of the noise. When you start going sideways like this and consolidating, I prefer the 12-hour. I only prefer the 4-hour when you're like in a situation like we had here where when Dot was really ramping. You know, it helped us kind of navigate some of these up consolidation events a little easier. All right, anybody have any thoughts on that? All right, let's take a look at the prediction for BTC. I don't know what time frame you're asking about. What do I think it's going to do in the short term? I have no clue. I don't have a good read right now. I'm very much just, I've got trades on. I've got my stop losses too far out. I want to tighten them up because of the risks that are coming in with all this market risk, potential market risk coming in. So I've been waiting for a bounce. What I'm waiting on is next day or two, if we get a good bounce in crypto, then I'll put a nice, healthier floor under my trades. My stops are way too far out right now. I can tell you that. And so, which means I have room to add more trades though. So I have really small trades on. I just started adding in some trades when BTC broke out of this. Right here, y'all saw me tweet, I think, through here I started adding trades on. So I have a trade on BTC right there. And I added a trade up here somewhere. But I have room to add because they're pretty wide stop losses. So I want to wait for a bounce, tighten up those stop losses, and then we'll see from there. I don't have a prediction in the short term. I don't know where it's going to go. I really don't have a good read on it right now. Sorry, I don't. The risk is to the upside. I mean, every day here's a way to look at it. Let's orientate ourselves on where we're at in the bull market cycle. But just think about it this way: every day that goes by, and every percentage down that we go, it creates that much better opportunity. Every percent down, from the prior swing high, and every day that goes by, it's a safer entry. So this entry right now is probably safer than entering at the same price, or definitely safer than entering at the same price in this recovery over here earlier in late February, right? Because we're just that much further along. Secondly, so an entry today right now is safer than entering lower, probably a few days ago. At 43K entry is probably safer yet, but let's orientate ourselves on where we're at. I need to do that for myself. Let me see if there's any other glaring questions that before we go to do that. I'm gonna look at the BLX chart. We haven't worked on that one in a bit in the live stream. I'm gonna cut off here in 30 minutes, by the way, so I'm not gonna be able to make it a super long, but I wanted to get something out, and I didn't have something really good to talk about prepared, so I figured I'd just go live and we'd hang out. Ashka Network, Akash Network, AKT. I don't know anything about it. Is the unstoppable cloud possible? Don't know. Prediction on looping. Let's orientate ourselves on where we're at with Bitcoin, and then we'll get to that. All right. So we'll start with that, and then I'll go answer some questions. We are 300 days in. No, not quite. What is today? Today is the 4th, March 4th. 297 days. And 580% up since the halving. All right, so the halving was back here. Our opening price the day of the halving, May 11th, was what, 8,000 something, 8,400. We are up 500% and 297 days in. What I like to do is I like to overlay this on the last cycle. So I said 580 and 297. So we are 580%. My word, so much more bullish than last time, but there's a lot more money sloshing around, so it's kind of hard to do it apples for apples. 580 and 297. It's going between 296. You guys get the idea. It's close enough. All right. So basically, what this is showing us is that our price action. Remember, we moved up, did this little weird bunny hill thing, and then we did this strong into the prior, and basically it's looked like this. And then we've come back down off that peak a little bit. Came out, stop, did that little weird bunny hill thing, consolidated, took off, hit the prior all-time high, took off, consolidated, took off, consolidated. That's basically what we've done this cycle. So it's been more bullish than last cycle, larger percentage move. However, at this stage last cycle is when we started getting some bigger moves on last cycle, and then we had this, what was this, a 40% sell-off, right? So this is what I'm expecting after we make another leg up. All right, let's just actually count this. So we had a sell-off. So we had a sell-off right off the bat, which is kind of a weird event. And then we had a sell-off here, one sell-off, two sell-offs, and then a third sell-off there. Okay. This cycle we've really had. How many 30% sell-offs have we had? It's just the one, right? I believe. We've only had one sell-off this whole cycle. It's 30%. Yep. So this last one was 27, almost 30, pretty close, 25%. And then this one was only 18%. This is why I don't have a good read, though. If you look at where we're at in the cycle and how much stronger this cycle is than last cycle, you know, a 40% sell-off is ahead of us somewhere. I personally believe because of all the M2 money and all the money supplies floating around, I think we're going to get the next leg up first to say 72, maybe even 100K, somewhere in that range, and then a bigger 40% correction is coming. And let's see here. That 40% correction, let's measure this. The 40% correction happened last cycle. It didn't happen, you know, obviously it didn't have to happen the same. But that was 371 days in. And then, you know, so starting at 338 days to 371 days. So basically this cycle, that would put us at the early part of next month for, you know, if we did line up closer, we're looking at another peak early next month, a sell-off all through April into, what's that? Yeah, into May, and then a recovery in May, right? That's the type of time frame we're looking at. So I do think that we still get another leg up, just because, you know, what's going on with the macro situation. You know, the reason we're so strong this cycle is this sell-off, right? The weakness in the dollar, money's flowing into speculative assets and inflation hedges. But that's my opinion. So I think we do I do think we consolidate. Some bullish news is going to come out and send us to 72K or so. And the reason I have 72K, I'm trying to remember exactly. I'm taking this off a log chart. I think the 72K was some work that we were doing on Fibonacci levels, and I'd have to go look at a clean chart. This is kind of a messed up chart. Oh yeah, those are my trend lines I was working on before too. I have another chart. Let's do the Coinbase feed one. Is this the clean one? This is the Binance one. So I've got like a gajillion charts. Always tinkered around on charts. No, I don't have it. I thought I had some fib work on one of these charts. I can't find it right now, guys. All right, questions. Let's do some valuable. Okay, BTC breakdown, retest, resumption, or a couple of wicks below. Do you think I'm on the 4 hour? We're not there yet. We're definitely not in a buy situation. Like, if you're not looking for an entry right now. You want to wait for the breakout of this bull flag, and probably you want to. Like you can buy into these support levels if you're just looking to add to a long-term position. You've got some funds freed up from somewhere else, but I would wait for us to break like this level right here. Looks like it's 49.6. The top of, that's the 4 hours. Let's go to the dailies. Look at the dailies levels. Yeah, so the top of these dailies and the top of those dailies. I'd wait for it to break back above. What would I do? Those levels. Let's go back to the 4 hour here. So at this point, if you're looking for another trade entry on Bitcoin, I would wait for it to get back above the bodies of these dailies at this point, personally. Which is coming in at, we're at 50K. Yeah, I mean, 50K is the battleground. We've been rejected at it. Technically, you know, you can count this as on a very macro level, on a daily time frame. This is kind of a rejection at 50, you know, a breakthrough and then a rejection. And then we've been rejected at it now twice. This one here and this one here. So I think you should wait for the 50K to break and then come back into it and then show you that it's going to retest and resume out of it. And I would prefer doing that on the 12 hour. That'll keep you out of some trouble at this stage. But it's going to be a really late entry. So, you know, buying into support is good for a long-term position. For trade entries, that's where I'm at. I'm kind of... because we don't know how long this consolidation is going to go on. The reason I say that, just one last little thing, is I keep watching this pretty closely. I look at the weekly RSI. And the weekly RSI has not been like reset to my liking yet. See, last cycle, we've talked about this before many times. We had, this is the actual, so this is the bear market swing high, and then you had the bull market I think it was 6 peaks. So we've really had kind of two impulses, which led to really high RSI readings, right? And so we didn't get a full reset on that first one. We got done at 74, I'm looking for a reset farther down to like 60. 50 to 60 is what I'd like to see. But as long as we're below 70, we've kind of reset the RSI enough for a moderate leg up. But be aware that a nasty, nasty, nasty correction's coming where we go from an RSI reading of 91 down to 50 something. It's coming. Just a matter of when. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant too. You see this reset, like this last reset was we're a little bit timid. This is when we were playing alt. So I was trading alts versus BTC, so I wasn't too worried about all this because I was focused on my alt trades versus Bitcoin. But this leg up here was kind of unexpected a little bit. You saw it on the charts though. Obviously, we saw it consolidate, break that wedge, and then resume. So we could play it technically, but this RSI is going to get reset larger, down to 60 or below, probably for too long. I don't think it's just yet. I don't think it's going to happen just yet, though. It's my read on it currently. All right. Somebody asked about a project earlier that I wanted to look into because I haven't looked into it. I have no thoughts on AKT right now. I don't know that I've read much about it or heard much about it. It's 226 on the list currently. World's first decentralized cloud computing marketplace. Decentralized cloud computing. All right. Let's look at their website real fast. I have to look at the technical. I just don't know. If the question I would have is this geared at people that have a small amount of compute resources that are spare? So, like, say I'm a small business and I have, I happen to have a co-location with a rack of servers, and I use my servers. I overbuild it because I just want to make sure I have plenty of compute power because maybe I have peak loads, right? So maybe I'm maybe I'm a tax preparation company and I really get busy right around tax or whatever, right? And I've really defined peak loads, so I have to oversize my infrastructure, and I haven't moved to the cloud because I'm doing taxes and I don't want the data on the public cloud. If this project is focused at helping people who have oversized their infrastructure to be able to sell that infrastructure when they're not under peak load then that's probably a pretty good project. If it's focused at a broader community of just like people and your computer and my computer, I think it's probably a really bad idea. It would be really, really, really hard to build a really distributed compute, and all the major metrics we look at are compute, storage, memory, and throughput, and that's what you usually pay for. So you see here, so they're looking at compute for a fraction of the price. So Google, Amazon, Azure, this is their how they're calculating this. What is this a compute-centric number? Is this a storage-centric number? Is this a bandwidth-centric number? I don't know where they're getting this 0.036 number from. Is that the cost of a small VM? Like what? Oh, it's not really telling me much of anything right there. So they claim they're less expensive than the other things, but for what? For what kind of workload are we talking about? Yeah, I didn't understand the type of workload and who they're really going after. Is it I can install some application on my computer and sell my computer's resources? If that's the case, I probably don't want to mess with it because that's way too much overhead to make something like that work. I would need to understand a portable supercomputer. Oh God. I want nothing to do with this. Quickly and easily generate passive income at home office by becoming a cloud provider. World's first centralized peer-to-peer cloud marketplace. It's like I have real servers over here in my server rack where I run crypto nodes and lab technology stuff, and I've got they're older. They're I think 24 core, 128 gigs of RAM, a few terabytes of storage. I've got a SAN that's got probably if I can sell those resources, maybe. But the problem is how reliable is my internet, and it's really, really hard to build an overlay across a bunch of really unreliable resources. Now, if you do it right and you can nail it, that would be really cool. But it's really hard to do reliably. It's to build an overlay with a bunch of really small nodes, because the overhead cost of managing the overlay and moving resources around, like if you have computer storage deployed, you're going to have a lot of redundancy, because it's going to be using a lot of highly unreliable infrastructure. So people's internet and computers go down, whatever, they don't keep it on their little super cloud box QB thing here, and it goes offline. And right, you constantly have to move workload around. The overhead of constantly shifting where people's workload is might be more trouble than the ecosystem, the value of the ecosystem. That'd be my concern with it. So I'd have to read up on it some more. It sounds interesting. I'll read up on it. This is like my specialty. I'm a specialist at building infrastructure solutions. So this is definitely one I can really understand and go, okay, there's a big difference between hype and reality. And that's where I'd like to cut through the... So I'll leave this page up. I'll look at it after. This is a good one for me to research. It's right up my alley. You can put the rocket anywhere on the chart. It most likely fits. Oh, man. Yeah, it's got to put a rocket on it. It goes up, right? That's the way it works, supposedly. I've put rockets on it before and it's gone down, so... But, it's kind of easy when your chart looks like this. Like, I'm going to go to a clean chart. Hold on. When your chart looks like that, it's easy to put a rocket on it and it's, works out for you. Look, rockets everywhere. So yeah, put a rocket there, could have put one there, put one. Well, I guess if you would have put one over here, it'd be disappointing for a while. Put a rocket there, it didn't work out for you, but that was pre-halving. Post-halving, like literally you could start anywhere post-halving, put a rocket on it, and you'd have been okay. And it wouldn't looked. Your rocket would have been kind of delayed on takeoff here for a little while, but all right. What's ETH looking like to you at the minute? ETH is looking like, I have concerns with ETH, but there's a big but there. So I think ETH is going to have a big run soon. And so I'm pretty heavily, I entered 2 pretty big trades on ETH. So I've got a pretty full-sized ETH trade position open, and I'm kind of just waiting to get stopped out right now. I thought I was going to get stopped out earlier and everything started selling off, but not really. We were watching it. No, I didn't get. I was pretty far from being stopped out, looks like. I think ETH's going to have a huge run here, and here's why. So obviously, ADA, Binance Chain, so Binance, BNB and Binance Smart Chain, and DOT have all had huge runs, and these are all the major ETH competitors. Now, Binance, not so much. I know it's got all the hype lately. In the long run, it's not going to be a major competitor, but nonetheless, it is today. ETH, they're going to be rolling out some scaling solutions soon. There's going to be a lot more stress coming off the network because now Matic and Loopring and Optimism and other non-direct layer 2 scaling like Ren and SNX are providing they're alleviating a lot of the issues that Ethereum was having. So when a lot of that volume gets moved elsewhere, and Ethereum's gas fees come down, and then on top of that, they're going to be implementing some on-chain, two main upgrades to try to alleviate gas fees. The EIP 1559, somebody said it in one of the chats. It doesn't actually lower gas fees. It just normalizes them, makes them. So that's really the truth, but that's going to help smooth it out. So you're not going to have these crazy spikes that people, you see these in news where somebody lost a bunch of money on gas fees, hopefully. And then what's the other? I forget the number of the other one, but so we got 2 main ones coming that are going to help with gas fees probably this year, and then plus the scaling solution. So I think as soon as gas fees kind of get under control a little bit on Ethereum, then money's going to flood back into it, and so I do think Ethereum's going to have a really big run here soon. Obviously, we were looking at that 2858 level right around, and we didn't quite hit it. Of course. Fortunately, I kind of sniffed out the sell-off, and I got out 1930. Yeah, so I got out 1930, which is pretty close to the top on my last trade. And then I've opened new ones since we broke this downtrend here. I think it's going to make a big move. I do. Now, after 2021, I have more concerns. 2022 and beyond is my biggest concerns for Ethereum. I do think you're going to see some severe weakness in Ethereum price versus the rest of the ecosystem, and a pretty big sell-off on Ethereum in 2022. That's my opinion. I think for 2021, we're safe, and it's still the dominant leader in the space. And I think it's going to be, probably a pretty bullish move upcoming here for Ethereum. But 2022, I'm going to be a little bit. I'll be watching closely what happens with Ethereum. I think it's going to be under some pressure, and that's not going to disappear or die or anything. I just think it's going to underperform and maybe have a little bit bigger sell-off because you're just going to have kind of a natural exodus while they work on Ethereum 2.0. People are going to want to be on a platform that's not going to be changing, right? So if Ethereum's going from 1 to 2, why not get on a blockchain that's already kind of at the level where 2 is going to be while you wait out and see what happens with Ethereum 2.0? So, all right. What else do we got here? We got a lot of comments. I don't know where I'm at. Please check XMR, BHC, BNB. I was looking at a couple of those earlier. I've only got 10 minutes left, guys. So I'm going to do a quick look at XMR. Looks like it's bottoming out to me. This is versus BTC. So if I can't trade leverage, if I can't trade at least 3x leverage versus the USD charts, I don't really care what it's doing versus USD. I'm gonna have to buy it with Bitcoin, basically. If I'm gonna deploy fresh fiat into crypto, it's gonna go into Bitcoin, and then I'll buy things with Bitcoin, right? So, if I can't trade it on leverage, which I can't currently trade Monero on leverage, I don't think it has leverage available in Kraken for me. I look at it versus Bitcoin, but versus Bitcoin, it's probably bottoming out. I'd watch this right here. You see it tried to break out here a little bit, and then it came back down. So get a break above that, you get this beautiful looking little consolidation. It's a bigger consolidation pattern. You broke that consolidation I was watching. Breakout. It's come back in. It retested this level at 40 or 4,000 satoshis or whatever this is. It's probably 40,000 satoshis. Yeah, I'm missing some decimal places here, but yeah, if you break this little, I'm on the daily right now. Let's go to a 12-hour. Same thing. You break this little downtrend that we're in here, and you resume up out of that. Looks like a good place to me. Now if you go to a really low time frame, I bet you can see something a little bit different. Yeah, so I kind of catch this other support level right here. Let's look at the daily. Hold on. Flash bearish. Yeah, I mean, your support's pretty far down here. So you got this daily close right here, yesterday's close, right there. That's at 4348, and then another support level at 4142. All right, so 4348, 41. So those are your support levels, but they're not gonna give you much right now. They're not actionable trades unless you're like really short-term scalping. But yeah, I think a break of this little bit of a wedge. Give you some potential entries. So that's on XMR. I've been watching it too. I'm waiting for XMR to bottom out. I had traded it before. We traded it somewhere back. I don't know where it was. This little breakout right here. I think we had an uptrend. Yeah, I was watching this uptrend channel, and we had a little bit of breakout. We did take a trade on that breakout there, but this is my last trade on XMR. I don't have time to get to the others. BNB I'd stay away from. I mean, I'm just totally be honest. I've never bought in this whole pump of BNB. I haven't bought it, not once. I think it's gonna lag the rest of the way. Is my opinion. Now I could be totally wrong, and it could be a dynamo, but it's an Ethereum ripoff. All they did is they took Ethereum, they tweaked a few parameters to make it a little bit faster than Ethereum. They made it proof of stake, and with their kind of proprietary proof of stake algorithm, but it's a very centralized version of consensus. And then it's a little bit faster block time and stuff, but it's just a ripoff of Ethereum. It's not a really new, innovative technology in any way. It's not anywhere near the level of Cardano or Polkadot as far as innovation. So, I've got all my eggs in Cardano, Polkadot, and the Chainlink's totally different thing. Oracle space, completely different space. But ADA, Polkadot, Ethereum, it's just a ripoff of Ethereum is all it is. And it wouldn't be much for Ethereum to do the same tweaks. So I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's going to lag. That's my opinion. EMC short screws right now. Is EMC talking about the equity or a crypto? I don't know what EMC even is. Like EMC is a company that was bought by Dell. It's a technology company bought by Dell. It's the only thing I know. My brain's working in. They make storage. New versus Bitcoin. I don't know. I've looked at new before. Too many projects. I can't remember what new is. New Cipher. Yeah, I've looked at this before. Yeah, it's a key management system. Now, I brought this up before. What's the upside? What's the market potential for a key management system? So KMS systems in the traditional technology world are a part of a bigger ecosystem. KMS is usually not a standalone, and if it is, it's a very small project, very small company, right? So there are standalone KMSs, but it doesn't really excite me because it's upside. What's its market cap already? 270 million. Yeah, its upside's maybe 4x from here, really, as a real market potential, from what I can tell. I'm not too excited about new. Yeah, I need to finish. I watched Jordan's live stream much as I could earlier, and I watched his afternoon update before I went live. Get my daily dose of clarity before I come on here and talk to you guys. Did you talk about XDC yet? No. Is New Cipher making a big move or something too? I don't know. XDC. Do I have that on my chart? I don't think I did. I don't think I do. XFin Network. It's been pumping. Enterprise ready hybrid blockchain optimized for international trade and finance. I don't have much comment on this. I'll go look into it, but you can build private blockchains out of a bunch of stuff, or enterprise blockchains. There's another enterprise blockchain. Which one is it? I'm thinking of that I did some reading up on. That seems pretty reasonable. It's very focused on enterprise use cases. There's an Ethereum enterprise too. So I think I would just stick with Ethereum because you can build there's projects that will make basically a Ethereum clone blockchain for enterprises. I'd rather do that. I'd be more behind something like that. So if this is its own chain, I'd rather just like have a ripoff of Ethereum 2.0 blockchain. All right, Adam. So I posted yesterday that I bought the graph with some profits. I took profits on Engine. Where the heck? Engine pumped like insane. It's still pumping. I took profits at this right here, 2576 level, which looks like I'm missing out on some upside, but it's okay. And I rotated those funds to Synthetics, to Algo, which both had good setups in the chart, and to the graph. So I prefer the graph over Atom. I think it's a better way of doing the communication sharing within the blockchain ecosystem. I think it's more efficient, and it's got a smaller market cap, so I think it has more upside. So I'm on the graph team versus Team Cosmos. Oh, okay. Is New Cipher about to be listed on Binance? Yeah. If you have it on Coinbase. Satoshi's the apex predator. Charles Hoskins, the breaker of chains. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up here. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you guys hopping on with me. We're going to start over some Doge-wave. And I'm going to put it up on the screen for you guys. Let you listen to some Doge-wave. Loop ring has huge potential. I saw somebody ask about loop ring. Loop ring has huge potential. Huge.